Hey guys, Project Zodiac here. I'm back with another video, and as you guys can see, it's another unboxing video of a movie. And this is something I'm very excited for. And I'm sorry I haven't really uploaded anything in a while now. I've been really busy with work as I do work full time. I've been really busy with school as I also study. And we've also been moving, so I'm actually recording this in a new house. And there was a whole process with the moving thing. And I'm still unpacking. There's still a lot of things to take care of. So I haven't really had a chance to unbox this or make any videos either on this channel or on my other channels. And I haven't even really been able to work on a lot of projects that I have. I'll be talking about that towards the end of this video because I do have a pretty big announcement, a reminder of a pretty big announcement at the end of the video. But for right now, let's just focus on this movie, which it's a movie I'm very excited for. I did pre-order this. This did arrive at the old house that we were living in. But again, it arrived and I was gonna unbox it because I did have time, a little time, but I just got very busy, had a lot on my mind to take care of a bunch of things. So I said I was gonna unbox it later, and then we actually had to move, and it's been a whole process. But right now we've been about 2 weeks now at the new, no, 3 weeks now. We're entering our third week at the new house, so I have some time now. But with that said, I'm so glad I can finally unbox this. So this, as you can see, is the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray version of The Crow, the original Crow movie with Brandon Lee as his last movie, and we'll talk about that towards the end of this. As you can see, this does say 30th anniversary, so that's pretty nice that they decided to do that for the 30th anniversary of this movie. And at the same time, we're getting the Crow remake, which we'll talk about towards the end. I think it got delayed a little bit. But it should be out this month. Sorry, not this month, this summer. But anyway, this is just a regular 4K disc. I did not go with the steelbook, even though that looked really beautiful. I was actually gonna pre-order it. Even though I don't really collect steelbooks, I just got mostly just the X-Men movie steelbooks, which I love the X-Men movies, and I got like a steelbook pack that came with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy and the Amazing Spider-Man duology. So there was 2 steelbooks with that. I just decided to keep it. Sorry that my voice is also very raspy. It's been a very long week with work, so I've been having to talk a lot. But thankfully, today's being a day that I can take care of some projects and some stuff, and also just relaxing a little bit. So yeah, this is not the steelbook, but it is the regular one. So here on the side, we've got this beautiful picture of the Crow, looking all gothic and intense. Got the Crow over here, the logo, and we've got some like rain splatter which carries over from this side. So that's pretty cool. I really like the packaging design. This is really good packaging design. Whoever did this, good job, because it fully fits the vibe of the movie. Now, one thing I don't get is, what is this? Like, why is that like there? I'm not sure if that was supposed to be the fire crow that he does in the movie or what, but doesn't look like it. So it's a little strange that that's there, but pretty cool. Also, I always feel like this T is lowercase for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway, we got the beautiful rain, Brandon Lee as the Crow walking towards us without the coat, and the image of the Crow in the background, which I don't really get the details of it. I guess it looks like mountains or something, I don't know. And then there's like eyes over here. Yeah, I don't really get the artwork that's inside of it, but I'll show this artwork better in a bit. All right, Believe in Angels. This is such a beautiful picture of Brandon Lee as the Crow, with the crow on his shoulder. And you guys can pause this here to read through it. Got some more pictures over here. And the special features. So that's pretty cool. I love audio commentaries, and it's one of the biggest reasons why I like buying a couple movies that I'm very passionate about on physical media, because one, the quality is better, two, you're supporting them, and three, because of all the bonus features that you get as well. Some of those being deleted scenes, and some of those being the full movie with audio commentary with either the actors or the director, and usually it's one or two together. Sometimes it's just the director, but either way, it is very cool. So I'm very interested to see what the director will be saying in regards to the movie, because again, this is a very complicated movie, and we'll talk about that in a minute for those of you that don't know what The Crow is about. And yeah. So I originally discovered The Crow, I believe, well, I always knew about it because of the fact that all of my friends' older siblings and my older brother, like, they would always talk about this movie like crazy. So I always like knew about it, but I didn't really care about watching it, and I always thought it looked kind of creepy. And I always thought it was a horror movie, like a very, very violent horror movie, which it is. It is kind of a horror movie, but not really in the sense of like it's supposed to be scaring you. I shouldn't even say it's a horror movie. It's more of a thriller, but it's a very serious, somber thriller. But, you know, because of how The Crow looks, I always thought that this was a horror movie. The back is the same. Why? Okay, I mean, I guess I can't complain too much. I don't really like it when the discs don't have artwork and it's just this, because it just seems so lazy, especially when you go to the effort to make a really cool picture for the packaging. But, and yes, you guys can take the code, it's alright. But we got an advertisement for Pet Cemetery. But in this case, I will say, alright, this works because The Crow is very gothic and very, you know, the black and white theme, especially with the face paint. So I can let it slide because it at least fits thematically, but it would have been cool if there was an actual picture here. Now, as you can see, there's no actual Blu-ray disc. Everything is inside this 4K disc, which I do prefer. And yeah, I'm very, very excited to rewatch this. I'm not gonna review this right now. I just want to share my story with The Crow in this particular video, and I'll probably do the same when I actually do review this movie, because I do want to review this movie pretty soon before the remake comes out. And we'll talk about the remake in a minute. So this particular movie is fantastic. Like, spoilers alert, you know, when I was little, as I was saying, I was scared about it. But when I was in about middle school, I was just like, well, let me see, because that's when I started seeing even more older movies that a lot of people talk about, such as, well, Back to the Future. I kind of grew up with that, but I didn't really like become a huge fan of it until like maybe 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that. So anyway, point is, same thing with like The Karate Kid. I grew up with it because of, you know, my family liking a bunch of these older movies, but I never really cared for it. And then when I saw the movies, I'm like, oh, okay, so these movies are fantastic. But yeah, so same thing for The Crow. I saw it when I was in about middle school, and I loved it. It is very violent. It's not a horror movie, as I was saying. It's more of a thriller. And the short synopsis, I mean, you guys can read it over here. is that it basically this guy and his fiance get killed. They get murdered, and in a really messed up way. And the spirit of this crow, this it's like a supernatural story. Come or not the spirit of the crow, but this crow comes and kind of revives him, and he decides to go and get revenge. But it's not necessarily revenge for you killed me and my wife, or my fiance, same thing. Now I'm gonna kill you. It was more of you guys did a very big injustice to two very good people, and not just to us, but to so many people, even to yourselves. So, kind of to punish them. And it's very dark in that sense because there's a lot of very heavy themes in this movie. So like the people that kill that killed them, they do really 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 bad stuff, not just to other people but to themselves as well. And the crow comes and kind of just in a very dark morbid way tries to cleanse and fix things. So it is very poetic in that sense, and it is based on a comic. um, and the comic is very very personal to the author that drew the comic. And honestly, I never read the comic. I knew almost nothing about it. It's only recently, I would say maybe about 2 3 months ago. Right now this is June 21st, I believe, or June 22nd, something like that. um, so a couple of months ago is when I fully read the original Crow comic. And yeah, a lot of people say that this is one of the most accurate and best comic adaptations, and that is very true. In fact, this is probably way better than the comic. And I can say that just because I did just read the comic. And it's not because I'm a huge fan of the original movie. It's more about the sense of, well, the comic does a couple of things that's a little bit different, but that the movie took those things but improved on it. And really, there's only a few things that I prefer from the comic than the movie. I know that I do a lot of unboxings and a couple of movie reviews here and there, and a couple of album reviews on this channel. But in the background, I'm writing a lot of things for shows, movies, albums, comics, that I like, scripts for the things that I'm reading, watching, all those things, so that I can make from those scripts videos. So I do have a lot of things that I want to talk about. So I'll be doing a comic review of The Crow soon. I already wrote the script for that because it's not even really a script, it's just my overall thoughts. It's kind of like my review on it. So it's not really a script, it's just my thoughts. Like I sit down and I just like write what I think about it. So yeah, I've done that for a couple of games. Even on this channel, I've done that already for the Xenoblade games. Xenoblade 3 and Future Redeemed. But yeah, so I do want to review the Crow comic. I only read the very first one. I know that there are sequels. But yeah, the Crow comic I didn't really like. Spoilers. Not gonna really explain so much as to why. Uh, Other than I don't really like the way that a couple of things was handled in regards to Eric. I always get his name confused with Eric or Derek. It does not say over here. Yep. Yeah. But the point is, I don't really like how the comic handled the character. But yeah, I'll leave the rest for the review of the comic. But the artwork is pretty good for the comic. But anyway, so this is better than the comic, and it is a movie that I really really love a lot. On top of that, this movie is really emotional because, as I was explaining earlier, this is Brennan Lee's last movie. In fact, he died when he was making this movie on the set of the movie because he was shot. I guess that from what I understand of the story, there was a scene where they had a gun and the prop master didn't really look at the 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 barrel of the gun and didn't realize that there was an actual blank bullet in there, and that shot and hit him and he died. And it's really really sad, and also very interesting because uh, if you look more into the story, you hear stories about how I think right before Bruce Lee, who is Brandon Lee's dad, died, there was like a message or like a dream, something like that. I don't really remember how it happened, but it kind of foretold what would happen to Brandon Lee. And I think also what would happen to Bruce Lee as well. I could be wrong on that. It's been a long time since I thought about or read that story, so that's why I don't really remember all the details. But basically, the summary is it was kind of foreseen before exactly what would happen. And it's very sad because he was young. I think he was like 28, 29, maybe 27 when this happened. Um, so yeah, he was very, very young, and it's so sad. And and that's why I'm very curious to see what the director has to say about this. And on top of that, that's why a lot of people have always been very critical about a remake or a reboot or a reimagining of The Crow. There has been sequels to this one with other people as the Crow, but that's okay because that's how it kind of was in the comics as well. Other people would take on the identity of the Crow, and that's fine. And I have seen all of them or as well. Um, Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll instead of just reviewing just this one, I'll review all of them, and then I'll right before the new one releases. Um, but we'll see. But in terms of the sequels, only one of them was actually pretty decent. The rest I didn't really like, and I'm the one that likes bad movies. But this movie is a masterpiece. It is very emotional. It's very tense. And a lot of people really value this movie because of what it did to represent Brandon Lee. So a lot of people are completely against a remake or a reboot. Um, I personally want to see a new take on the movie as well. I know that Jason Momoa was going to be the Crow, and there was that leaked test footage of him with the makeup on, and it fits the aesthetic perfectly. I'm sad that they didn't go with that movie, but now we're getting one, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so for them to finish this particular movie, um, it took a lot of the movie was mostly done by the time he died, and they just had to do a lot of camera trickery and imagery in order to make you feel like it is him, and a lot of props, makeups, wigs, things like that. um, so that is very very nice that they were able to finish the movie and release it in honor of Brandon Lee as well. So it's a very fantastic movie. And one other thing about this, as I said, this is basically like a masterpiece. um, I was excited when they announced the Crow remake coming out, and I thought that my older brother liked it, like this movie originally, because I remember that him and his friends used to talk about it, and some of my friends' older siblings used to talk about it, so I thought he liked it as well. And I'm like, hey, did you hear that they're making the new Crow? They're remaking The Crow, and he's like, what, with Brandon Lee? And like that one? I'm like, yeah, that one. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm excited. Are you gonna want to see it? I'm like, I didn't even like the original. I'm like, what? And it's like, yeah, I didn't like the original. The original was not good. So he didn't like the original, um, which is this one. But I love it. It's one of definitely top, favorite movies. Not my favorite, all-time favorite movie, but it's in one of those categories where I truly value this movie so much that I wanted to own it, in 4K. Now, this movie itself is also very complex because the music for it, not complex, but another reason why it's also considered as a masterpiece is because the music. And in fact, this is what I was saying by we were going to see this image a little bit better. I actually have the original motion picture soundtrack for The Crow. And I bought this. This is also very special for me because I bought this my first record store day back in 2019, and it was the first time that they had released this soundtrack on vinyl. And it was right when I started buying records. So like just a few months, like right after, like maybe a month and a half, 2 months after I started buying records, that's when the record store day came, and so I went and I got it. Well, amongst other stuff. I didn't just go just for this. But when I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But the soundtrack for this movie is considered one of the best soundtracks for a movie. And we're talking about soundtracks because a lot of people get soundtracks and scores mixed up. And sometimes they mix the two together. No, the soundtrack is the licensed songs or the original songs that have vocals associated that was shown in the movie. The score is the instrumental music that is made specific for the movie. There can be an actual vocal song made specific for the movie that could be part of the soundtrack, sure, which we'll get to that in a minute with this. But yeah, soundtracks are not scores. The soundtrack is, when we're talking about movie, is supposed to be the vocal songs, and the scores is the instrumental songs that was made specifically for it. So here we have a whole bunch of licensed songs that is part of the soundtrack, but then we got The Cure that specifically got hired to make this song Burn for this movie. And that song is fantastic. I love that song so much. The Cure is really, really good. I do like a lot of their music. I actually have a couple of their albums, such as Wish and Disintegration, but like on vinyl. So Wish is, I love Wish. It's such a fantastic album. Like I had been hoping to get Wish on vinyl since I started collecting vinyl, and thankfully they did. I'm pretty sure I did an unboxing for it in this video. But yeah, so Burn is such a beautiful, fantastic song, and I just love that song so much. And yeah, so it was made specifically for this movie, and yeah, it's just really, really good. They really know when to work with the songs in the scene, and that's why, not just that these are really good songs, but also just because of the fact that it is implemented into the movie so well. And now I'm going into a review of the movie. We'll say that for the actual movie review. But yeah, I just wanted to show this off, and I'll show this off in the movie review as well. I still don't really understand all of these patterns here. Kind of makes me think of what was that movie with Ashton Kutcher? I forgot how to say his name. Ashton Kutcher, that has the butterfly effect thing. I think that has this imagery as well, like with eyes here. Or am I thinking of a different horror movie? I'm sorry. It's been a long day too. But yeah, so the Crow soundtrack is fantastic. I definitely recommend you guys listen to it. This has a black and a white vinyl record. So one record is white and the other one's black. So that's why I'm saying that for the discard, I can let this slide. And now, yes, we're finally getting, after 30 years, a remake of this movie, which came very, very quickly. They announced it, and now it's out in like 4 months after they announced it, or it's about to be released like 4 or 5 months after they announced it. So yeah, they worked on that very, very quickly. We even got like a trailer right away. Like, as far as I know, there wasn't really a announcement before the trailer. I think they just kind of released the trailer and it's like, oh yeah, we've been making a Crow movie. And it's like, what? So, or maybe they had announced it before and I just wasn't made aware of it. But it definitely looks interesting. I've seen a lot of the memes regarding the tattoos on the main character, because it's not a different person being the crow, it's actually him being the crow. And I'm saying him because, again, I cannot remember his name. It's either Derek or Eric. It's one of those two. Um, so yeah, so yeah, it's with him. And so it's a full-on remake rather than a sequel or a reimagining or whatever. It's just a remake, but its own flavor of it, and it might be good. Honestly, it looks very violent. It looks very brutal. I don't like the fact that there's barely any scenes with him with the makeup on. But we will see. I'm honestly pretty excited to watch it. Do I think it's gonna be as good as the original? No, but I'm still very excited for it. But this is my very long unboxing for this movie. I'm very excited to review the movie, all the movies, and also the comic. That's gonna take some time. I am about to go on vacation next month. I'm gonna be gone a month. So I'm gonna try to do a couple of reviews for a couple of movies and a couple of things for this channel before I leave. For my other channel, I've got stuff already recorded that I did the other day. So that I'll be releasing those there. But so that's one big announcement, is that I will be going away for about a month. So expect to see a lot of movie reviews. I have not been able to do the Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed follow-up video that I wanted to do, that I talked about just yet, just because of the moving and everything. And also because of all that, I haven't really been able to work on this very, very big project that is basically ready to be released. I just got to do 2 more videos regarding this project, because I kind of want to release a bunch of videos together in regards to this one project. And this one project is basically the main center of what this channel is for. So I do apologize for the delay with that. I do know I've been saying that a lot for a couple months now. I've been working on this for a long time, so trust me, I'm so excited to get this out. But yes, it should be released pretty soon. But yeah, guys, those were my updates, and thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this movie, and I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.